ladies and gents, we thought that we'd have a nice, relaxed bit of a chat about what the edge actually is. So we're on the bank. We thought we'd have 10 minutes, 5 minutes, just a quick chat about what the edge is. So you tell everybody there about our idea and why we thought about doing the edge.
I think just so you guys understand, effectively earlier in the year, me and Rob, we've done a lot of lovely group sessions today, together, coaching. You know, we've done some brilliant stuff on the bank, and we've also done a lot of videos out there ourselves. But we felt that there was a place for this longer format of video. This, like, you are there with us. You are there on the bank in all these sort of unique fishing situations where you can actually see how our brains are working and what we're going through while we're doing it. Wouldn't you agree, Rob?
Well, you know, the coaching days, the group coaching days, they were absolutely fantastic. You know,
brilliant.
Each one, loads of people on there learning, and everyone had come away picking up loads of stuff. We get loads of messages after saying that the format was fantastic. But obviously, we've had a terrible year. Everyone's had a terrible year with COVID problems. We couldn't do the group days, so we knew that people still wanted that.
Yeah, we had the info. We had the info to give people. Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know, we also talked about the fact, and we're not going to dodge this bullet. There's a lot of free content out there, isn't there?
Loads of stuff. Listen, I'm going to play a bit of a devil, and I'm going to ask you some questions. You back them off for me, okay?
Oh, go on then.
There's loads of stuff on YouTube. It's free. Why should I pay for something?
Yeah,
that's the first question.
No, absolutely, and I understand that. I understand that point of view, and when I look at it, I realise that the stuff on YouTube, there's some great stuff on YouTube. Let's not get away from that. A lot of it's short format. You know, you can't go out and shoot this longer format. It's an expensive process, so a lot of that stuff is very short. It's almost like an ideal situation. You don't see the thought process. You're just like, this is how you should do it. This is how you can do it. It's almost like watching some fantastic experiences. We've both
I always feel, you know,
fantastic experiences.
You know, with YouTube videos, I always feel that, you know, you have to pay for something somewhere. So a lot of it is product based. So quite often it's revolving around a certain product.
Yeah, fair comment. Yeah.
And
which leads into what you're doing. But the thing is, when you do the style that we're doing, okay, you're there. We're there with the camera crew on the box live. It's not about a headline figure. It's about that situation.
I always feel it's not about the kit. We're not ramming kit down anyone's throat. We're not doing that. We use certain kit. You use some kit, fantastic kit. We use the right kit for the job. But what we're talking about in these videos is why we make the decisions. Why we decide to cast in a certain place.
Hey, listen, it's why we change the name. It's how we get the edge. That is literally it, and that is what we can give you as anglers. You know, me and Rob work really well together because we come from slightly different styles and backgrounds. I love learning from Rob. I'm sure Rob feels the same, and we know that we can give you something. We can take you that little bit further with your fishing, and that's what I want to do with the guys.
Next question before I get onto the actual fishing side, because I want to talk to you about one of your highlights. So I think of that. But the next question is, I buy a magazine. There's loads of stuff in that magazine. It's a nice read.
Yeah.
Well, surely I'm learning enough from that.
Listen, I've done magazines for 10 years, as you have, longer, 15 years of articles, loads of information, written thousands of words down. I can read an article, Rob, in 10 minutes, right? And I'm reading it in my interpretation in my brain, not necessarily from the angler. When you watch a video, so when you pay for a magazine, there's the content in there, but it's a short form of content. When you watch a video, a longer video, you get into the session. You know, we've had some unbelievable anglers coming back to us going, that's really interesting what you're saying there. It's almost like an opportunity to watch the match. You know?
I'll tell you what, I'm going to use that word, opportunity, because we're being opportunists on that day. We're making those changes on that day.
We only have a rough plan, don't we? We only have a rough plan.
We have a rough plan. Yeah. We turn up to a venue, we make those changes on the day. And sometimes when you write an article, or when you read an article, it's a little bit different for us because we used to write all our own stuff, but not everyone writes their own stuff, so you're not getting it first hand a lot of the time. And secondly, sometimes you end up writing about the perfect scenario. You write about what should have happened rather than what did happen.
So when you go out on the bank, you think, well, why isn't that happening like that? And that's what we can give you. That's what the edge can give you. It can give you this opportunity to go, right, that's how they're thinking. I can give a brilliant example recently, Rob, on a video that we went and done that's coming out very shortly. We tried a couple of methods. One of the methods didn't work at all, did it? It was a complete failure. We were convinced we'd catch on it.
We thought we would, yeah.
Convinced, and it was a failure. And it was one of the highlights for me because it was like, hang on a minute, guys. this is identified that was the key. That was the key area, not this other approach. And you wouldn't see that on promoted content. Do you know what I mean?
If I was writing a feature on that day,
you just forget that method.
You wouldn't have even mentioned it.
No, you wouldn't even mention it.
But we felt that we needed to include that into the day.
It was really important.
I'm going to tell you my highlight from the videos that we've shot.
Go on then, yeah.
The highlight was Southfield.
Okay, yeah.
Because I thought that was a fantastic, because obviously I fish Southfield Reservoir a lot. We both love our bream and skimmer feeder fishing. And just the changing from feeders, the difference a feeder makes, so a cage versus a window feeder, when you look at them, it's a feeder at the end of the day.
Hey, that is a tough venue though.
It's a rock hard
venue. And those changes, didn't they make a difference?
Those micro changes were absolutely unbelievable. So 2 casts with a cage and then a cast with a window over the top. Things like that.
The time is behind that. When do you do that? You can't write that down. It's impossible.
Because a lot of people, and maybe me included up to a couple of years ago, believed that certain feeders were just literally about casting the distance rather than the bait delivery system.
Yeah.
It was about casting the distance. So you only used a window feeder or a rocket feeder for casting a long way. I didn't think about what the bait was actually doing inside the feeder.
No.
And that is what we're talking about. You know,
getting the edge.
That is the edge. Yeah,
that is the edge. That is why the name exists. Absolutely. Listen, my highlight for me, and I'm going to go right back. When we started, we went to Staunton Harold.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was a red hot day, absolutely red hot. And because it was a red hot day, we both settled on a form of feeding that revolved around ground bait, not loads of particles. Obviously, those guys who've seen the videos will know how we adjusted that. That was at the start of the summer, right? And it was everybody caught nothing, and first chuck we caught that bream.
Yeah,
first chuck of the first video, we caught that big bream, and we caught several bream that day. Not loads, caught about 5, and there was no bream caught. And it was almost like, because I remember turning to you and saying, so what do I do now, Rob? Do I put some bait in? You said, do you know what, Lee? You just cast out with that same very low feed mix, even though it was the middle of summer, and we kept catching. That set you up for a brilliant event later on, didn't it?
In the autumn festival, there was a 2-day festival there, all on weight, no points, so it was all on weight. I actually won the festival feeding nothing. So using what we'd learned on that session.
Yeah, and we had some great results at Staunton this
summer. I won
£1,000,
I won £1,000 doing the same tactics. And if we hadn't have gone on that video, if I hadn't have been involved with that video, watching that day,
I wouldn't have done, definitely not.
I might not have won £1,000.
Well, I'll tell you why you wouldn't, right? Because when we were there, when we went on the matches, there's a tendency at Staunton to feed incredibly heavily.
It's a big reservoir, you think, pile of baiting. Yeah.
But the first match after, I came second in the match, and I caught loads and loads of fish, and literally I just took it steady, and I thought I wouldn't be doing this now. It was because of what happened before, and that's it. And the highlight for me, Rob, isn't a particular video. Without sounding silly, getting together, me and you looking at those days, honestly, I feel like a better angler, and I feel like a better angler because when you're working with somebody who is thinking like you are in that process, it's almost like we're studying. It's like you're studying fishing.
It's analysing, and you
it's
know,
absolutely brilliant.
If you make a mistake, I'm going to hammer you for it.
Oh,
if I make a mistake, you're going to hammer me for it. So
yeah.
we're sharp, and we don't want to make those mistakes. It's a really nice concept. If you've not seen any of the videos, please check it out. There'll be a link just below there.
Tell you what I was going to say before the guys go. Right, you on our website. To tell you exactly what it is, you can buy any individual video, okay? So if there's a particular video that you think to yourself, do you know what, I really fancy that video, you can actually go on and purchase that one video. But I'll tell you what the actual key to this is, subscribing, okay, guys? If you subscribe to the channel, for a start off, it's cheaper, and you get the regular content. Me and Rob guarantee you a monthly content as a minimum.
At least.
We're always trying to throw in extras to help you be better anglers. Month on month, you'll be able to see and learn and get the edge in your fishing. So that is what I would encourage anyone to do. A subscription is there to enable you to do that. And sometimes, you know what it's like, you can forget a month and you think, oh, I haven't seen that one. Whereas if you are subscribed, you get into that habit of doing it.
It's a £5, isn't it?
So it's a joke. Like you go to the pub and two pints is like £7. You know, it's ridiculous.
you go below Milton Keynes, 1 pint is £5.
No, that's right.
So a bag of ground bait, £5.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Just 2 pole floats that you break straight away or you never use, £5. You know.
And we've invested a lot of time in this because we know that the content is good, the content is great, and I'd love you to go out there and see what it's all about.
Perfect. Nice relaxed chat. Check out the link below, guys. Tight lines.